I think we did face some technical challenges here in the beginning, but those are minor ones, so I think we should get started. Hi Aditya, hello Deepak, and Geeta, if you can hear us, hello. So let's get started with this. Good morning everybody, and I don't think we have anybody joining from US, so no good evenings. Okay. My name is Dave, and I'm one of the members of Skill Venue. We are here to conduct this first business analysis webinar. The intent of the webinar is to help anybody who wants to become a business analyst. This webinar will give you complete insight into what the BA role is about, what BAs do, how they do it, what are the expectations from a BA, what does a typical BA day look like, and what are the key challenges that they face. Overall, if someone wants to get into the BA industry or into a successful BA role, what are the things that they can expect? How's the trends looking like for BAs, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we have a set agenda. Okay, so we'll do a quick introductions, and then I'll give a short introduction about myself, and then we will look at today's session, what we want to cover. We are basically focusing on, helping people understand what the BA role is about, what are the tools and techniques a BA should know and must know, what are the trends, and how are these trends looking for BAs. The understanding is that the people here on this call want to become BAs, they're aspiring BAs, and that's how this whole presentation and the whole webinar is designed, to help you understand and give you a complete overview of what you should do to become a good BA. And once you're in the industry, once you're in the role, what are the things that you will need to do to become a successful one. We will also take a look at what are the certifications that a BA can do, how much those certifications cost, and what is the process to complete those. Another aspect is how the industry is paying the BAs. What are the salaries that BAs draw? We will also take a look at that. And what are some of the career opportunities that BAs have in front of them? Okay, so the intent is to help you provide, all the information, all the assistance that you need to become a successful BA. Okay. Right. So I am not sure if Aditya will be able to give us an introduction, because there are some limitations there, but never mind. Can everybody else, can we just go around the table and then do a quick introduction so we know who's on the call, and we will get to know about them a little bit? I hear that Sushma has joined. Sushma, can you hear us? Okay. Nitin, do we know if Sushma is able to hear, if Geeta is able to hear or not?
Dave, just give me a minute. Let me check it out. Oh, sorry about that.
All right, so we have a short introduction from him. And Aditya has done his MBA from Dublin, and he's keen to become a BA and move full time. Thank you, Aditya, for the introduction. Um, Aditya, I think we should continue. Okay.
Sure, Dev.
Right. So a little bit about me. I have been with the with a lot of customers as a BA. I've been a BA for about close to 11 years now. And in this capacity, I've had the opportunity to work with some of the prestigious customers in the world. Um, some of these include General Motors and Toyota from the automotive domain. Um, I was also working with Honeywell as a business analyst, where we were working with one of the aerospace distributors for one of the big aerospace company. When I was working with Capgemini, I had the opportunity to work with Warner Brothers as well. We were working on a video distribution system software. I had a chance to work for Microsoft when I was in Hyderabad for a year. That was in the year 2006 and 7. And most importantly, I've I've kind of been blessed with the opportunity of working with some of the folks from FIFA as well. So um, the 2010 Football World Cup, uh, when Satyam was associated with FIFA for their event management system, I had the opportunity to work with people from FIFA. So let me give you a brief idea of what are the products or what are the softwares that I have worked on with these companies. With General Motors and Toyota, we were working on an order workbench system, which is designed for dealers, all the GM dealers and Toyota dealers in US and Canada, and they use this software for their daily uh, business activities. This can include your order management, inventory management, reporting, planning and forecasting, financing, vehicle delivery, um, warranty systems, and things like that. With Honeywell, we were working with uh, a company called HPG, which is the Hardware Product Group. That's a third-party distributor group which distributes all the aerospace parts, aircraft parts to Boeing, Airbus, and companies like that. With Warner Brothers, we were working on a video distribution system, which is used in US. Apart from making great movies, Warner Brothers also has this very rock solid video distribution system all over US, so you can order anything online and watch it. So we were working on that. With Microsoft, it was a global data system that we were working on. So we were working with some of the MVPs from Microsoft on collating their data and publishing the knowledge base articles. And with FIFA, it was the event management system, which was used for 2010 Football World Cup. Okay, so that's about me a little bit. Let's also look at what Skill Venue is about and what we are doing and why we are doing. Skill Venue is a dynamic training company that offers an extensive range of training programs and courses to corporate, colleges, and individuals with the help of best industry trainers. Right now, we are focusing on instructor-led trainings, self-paced learning programs. We also have corporate in-house training programs, and uh, there is also a strong intent to target the colleges with in-house training. Okay. Now, today's session. Today's session is going to be all about BAs. We are going to attack it in a big way. Anybody who has any doubts or any questions about what they need to do or anything that they want to ask in terms of I want to become a BA. I don't know where to start. I have a strong urge to be in that role, but I'm not sure where I begin or what I do. So we will take a look at all of those things. Okay, we will describe the business analyst role, what he does, how he does, what are the skills and knowledges that you need to possess to become a successful BA. And I'm sure right now everybody is working in some capacity or the other. So there is this transition that we have to make from your current role to a BA role, and we are here to help you with that transition. We will give you all the information, all the tools and technologies, all the skills and knowledge that you require to make that transition. Okay. Just remember that all of us here have our own individual skills, have our own individual knowledge and experience, which we bring to the table. Okay, so there isn't specific for one person. So a BA role may mean something to me and something else to other folks on this call, right? So we have our own perspective, we have our own perception about the BA role, but this training or this whole session will give you a general idea about how you should drive your efforts and what you should do to become a BA. Okay? Any questions so far? Sure, Aditya. We actually made it for you, man. All right. So we've had some people who've joined. Let's do a quick pause here and find out who do we have on the call, and then that way, if we have missed anything, then we can just do a quick recap for everybody else, so everybody's on the same page, right? So, Sheikh, I see you are on the call. Can you hear us? Right. Sushma? Not able to hear?
Hi. Yeah, I'm very much here.
Okay. Bravo. We have someone who's responding,
Thanks for inviting me to this session. I'm very glad to be a part of this session. There's some background noise.
No problem with the background. It's all fine. Okay, so Sushma, can you just give us a small overview of what you do and what is your current role, where do you work, and what is it that you do, and shortly about that, and then why you want to be a BA, and what are you doing to become a BA?
Sure. I'm currently working as a senior software advisor in one of the leading companies in Bangalore.
Right.
I was in an engineering team, that's more like in a development team. So now I'm just taking a transition to a business analyst role. I've already made a move. That means I've joined to a new team. Right now it's hardly a week of experience out there. I'm still trying to know what is it is expecting out of that role and all those in my current company and my current role. This session came to me as a very good opportunity on a right time. So I'm just trying to look for it, saying what is the industry standard, what they look for as a business analyst, what we have to do, and all those actually.
Okay. Right. And have you done any trainings in the past, or is this your first one?
Business analyst related, I have not done any training. So I have kind of hands-on things like through, the industry, right? Whenever we try to do anything, like you will always get the flavor of some other role as well. So it's something like that. Even I got to know a bit about it. So as such, as an individual role, this is first week of it, and I'm just going through.
Okay. Well, I think you are in the right direction because at the end of the day, in the IT industry looks at everybody as how marketable or how capable they are, and through this training you'll be able to build that capability of a BA, and at the end of the day it is only going to help you, So, so congratulations on your transition towards the BA.
Moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Can I know your name? I joined a couple of minutes late to the session. I could not get your name.
Yes. Sure. My name is Dave, and I am also associated with Skill Venue along with Nitin. So Nitin and I are
okay.
doing
Hi Dave. Hi Nitin.
Right.
Hi Sushma.
And
Hi Nitin.
I've been myself for about 11 years, and I just did a brief overview of the company. So that's that. Let's continue. Let's move forward.
Sure.
Right. So let's take a stock of the current inventory. What do you actually know about business analysis? I'm sure not much of experience we have at this point, but What is it that you know about business analysis? What is the first thing that comes to your mind when somebody says, you are going to be a business analyst, or I am a business analyst? What is the perception that everyone carries here?
I would like to put a little point with what I understand. So this is more like a captain to a ship. The ship is towards the development side, and I'm just trying to narrate the scheme to the right shore with the information what I know from the business.
Right. Okay. I think that's a very fair answer. That's a good one. Aditya, do you want to just type in quickly and let us know what you think? Right. I think, Sushma, you made a very good point. So, the BA is actually the captain of the ship, but more importantly, what happens is that if you look at that ship, there are other people as well. There is the project manager, there are people from development, there are people from testing. So, to put it more accurately, I think the captain would be the project manager, whereas your business analyst would be the commander-in-chief, who actually gets to make all the decisions. Yes, it is a very critical role because nowadays most of the companies are realizing the importance of business analyst. I think 10 to 15 years back, this role was not even there. Even the project management role was not there. Okay, people were only relying on individuals. There was no clear definition of what a project manager should be or what a business analyst should be. What should be their roles? Okay. And over a period of time, organizations realize that a BA role is critical. Has the domain knowledge, who knows how to manage people in the project, who knows how to coordinate between the development team and the testing team, get the requirements to the developer, hand it off to the testing team as well. So this kind of a role has become important over a period of time. Okay, and it is gaining importance because more and more companies are starting to realize that a BA is critical to the project. You have to have somebody who can take everybody along with them. Because a BA is a liaison between your project manager, your development team, your development lead, your testing lead, your QA team, and everybody else. Okay. So let's go ahead and quickly define what is business analysis. Okay. Business and analysis go words together. Business could be anything, could be any business. And analysis is the process of breaking the concept down into more simple parts so that its logical structure is complete. Okay, that's the definition of analysis. And if you put these two together, then business analysis is the business process of assessing an organization's structure, processes, technology, and capability to identify and define solutions to roadblocks that come in the way of achieving organizational goals. So remember, when you become a business analyst, you are taking that responsibility of understanding the domain. You have to understand the organizational structure. You have to understand what technology that they use. You have to understand what capability the organization has. And then I'm sure there will be a lot of problems or roadblocks that the organization is facing. And that's why we have these projects which come up. So you have to basically be able to identify and define solutions to those roadblocks which come in the way of achieving organizational goals. I'll give you a very simple example. When I was working with General Motors, so General Motors, it's an automotive company selling millions of cars in a year. There are hundreds and thousands of dealers all over the world. We were dealing only with people who were in the United States and Canada. Okay. Now there was this major problem that, let's take an example. I have a dealer. I'm selling GM cars. I have a big dealership. Cars are on display, and customers walk into my dealership. I show the cars. The order is booked, and then the business is going very good. Now, around 2008, when we had this recession, a lot of people stopped buying cars, because everybody was hit with the recession. So not just GM, other car makers as well. A lot of dealers were having a lot of inventory, a lot of unsold cars. So as a dealer, I would get about say 500 cars from GM, which I was supposed to sell in 1 quarter, and I was able to sell only about say maybe 50 of them. So I had a extra inventory of about 450. Now what do I do with that? Similarly, there were many dealers who were having extra inventory, and people were not able to sell cars. Now because of that, GM was spending more on these cars, but they were not able to sell, which means that their profits were going down. Now this is a critical business problem. This is a critical business problem that your input is there. You have your cars are being manufactured, but they're not being sold, which means that there's an excess inventory which all the dealers have. Now this is a critical problem, and we were supposed to go and provide a solution for this, right? So you also have to get into a role like that, a situation where you will be able to identify the problems that the organization is facing and provide solutions. In this particular scenario, what we did was that we came up with a project for optimal retail inventory. So all the dealers were supposed to get inventory from GM based on how much they sell. It's not that everybody gets everything and they sell everything. You only get based on your previous performance. So that way, we were able to bring down the cost of production. So the whole idea here is to make you familiar with the concept of finding the problems. You have to find a problem or a roadblock which is causing obstruction in the overall organizational goal, and then you have to identify and define solutions for that. Okay, that is business analysis in its true sense. Okay, let's also look at what a business analyst does. Okay? A business analyst serves as a bridge between the stakeholders. Now, who are these stakeholders? The stakeholders are the people who have a direct involvement in the project, who have direct association with the project because they are putting in their money. Okay? They are putting in their money and they expect return on the investments. Tomorrow, if GM decides to, say, introduce a new car in the market, I'm sure they will spend millions of dollars, doing the design, development, production, and everything else. So when they get this car out in the market, they want to make sure that this sells well, okay? And to do that, they have X number of things to do in the background. And the people who put in money for those kind of things, they are the stakeholders. They are the ones who are directly associated with the project. They are directly impacted by the success or the failure of the project. So a business analyst serves as a bridge between these stakeholders. Now, it's not just the people who are putting the money in the project are the stakeholders. Okay, there are stakeholders like there is development team who have a direct association with the project. Anybody who gets affected by the success or failure of the project is a stakeholder in the project, and the business analyst is the bridge between all of them. Now, in this particular diagram, you will notice that you have the BA in the center, and you have all the other teams around them. So there is a sponsor who is sponsoring the project. The BA is answerable to them. BA also works with the project manager, and that's who you have on the right side. At the bottom, you will see dev, which means the development team. So BA is also working with the development team. A BA is also working with the test team. So you see how you have to function as a bridge between all these people. You have to act as an organizer, a listener, investigator, facilitator, communicator, and an innovator, right? So you have to organize all your tasks. You have to listen to everybody's requirements. So when your project manager or your business is giving you the requirements, you have to listen carefully, get all the requirements. You have to investigate if there are requirements which are not understood, if there are requirements which are not clear, then you have to investigate further. Then you also have to facilitate. There are a lot of meetings that BAs facilitate. You have to gather requirements from the business, so you have to be a facilitator and facilitate those sessions where you are capturing the requirements from the customer. You have to be able to communicate well, and you have to innovate. Innovate because you are the ones who's providing solutions to the customer. Okay, and that is the reason why the business analyst role is such a critical one, because you have to innovate, and the solutions that you provide will go a long way in making the organization successful. Okay. BAs are technology and domain agnostic. What that means is that you have to be completely independent of technology. The information that we are going to share in this training program, the skills and knowledge that we will give you, will apply to any technology or any domain. So that's why BAs are supposed to be domain agnostic. When I say agnostic, I mean independent. You should not be dependent on just one domain. You cannot go out in the market and say that, no, I am only automotive domain BA. I only work on automotive projects, or I only work on retail projects, or I only work on healthcare projects. No. The concepts that you will learn here will apply in general to all the industries. Okay? Are we good so far? Any questions?
We're good.
Aditya, any questions? Okay, let's continue. Right. Okay, so we'll get to the business terms very soon, Deepak. Okay. So in a typical day, business analyst will investigate business problems, consider perspectives from everyone. They will analyze the requirements, evaluate options. They will define the requirements and manage the change. Okay, we'll get into the specifics of all of that, what each one means and what each one does. Let's now look at what are the industries which are open to BAs. Which are the industries where once you do your course, once you do your certification program, where are you headed? Which are the industries that you can target? So there is a lot of scope for BAs in the aviation industry, the aerospace industry, aerospace companies like Honeywell, Boeing, Airbus. There are a lot of companies in the aerospace domain which are hiring BAs. Automotive was always a seller because you have so many automotive companies like Honda, Toyota, GM, Maruti Suzuki, Hyundai. I think there are hundreds of them, and there's always some kind of work always happening in these companies. They're always investing in their IT, and that's where the BAs are required. So automotive is very promising industry for BAs. Banking and finance, again, a very promising industry. Healthcare, which is coming up in a big way, is hiring a lot of business analysts. Information technology in general is again very much open to the BAs. Telecom, retail, insurance, manufacturing and services. These are some of the industries where you can go in as a BA. Right. So let's now get into the specifics. Let's now become more specific about what are the common terms that a BA is expected to know. When you go into a project, people know that we have a BA coming into the project. When you go in, what is it that you're supposed to know? What is it that you're supposed to do? So we will start getting into those specifics. So there are some common terms that you should get familiar with, and you can also take this information and go back and read about it. Project stakeholders are the people who are investing in the project, who have direct association with the project, who are directly impacted by the project. Okay. SDLC is the software development lifecycle. What that includes is the complete lifecycle of how a software is conceptualized, created, and then implemented. These are very simple 3 words, but then there is a lot of things which happen in the background. So when you do conceptualization, what you mean is that you do the requirements, you gather all the requirements. Your BAs will take all the requirements from the customer, give it to the development team. Development team will do the design activities on that, and then once the design is signed off by the customer, the development will begin. Once it is developed, it will be tested, and then it will be deployed into the production environment. So this complete life cycle where the software is conceptualized, designed, developed, tested, and implemented is called the software development life cycle. Make sure you go and read about it, once you're done with this training. Business requirement. Business requirement is a typical, let's just say that one-line requirement which comes from the business. Let me give you an example. Say, for example, that you have a mobile, and let's say you use a Samsung mobile, and when you switch on the mobile, you have the option to see all the apps that are loaded on your screen. So that's a requirement that as a customer or as a user, you want to be able to see all the apps that are installed on your mobile. So that's one-line requirement. So if you look at a business requirement, it is nothing but those critical activities for an enterprise that must be performed to meet the organizational objectives. So a business requirement is like at a high level. One level deeper is your functional requirement, like how the system is supposed to function, what is the functionality, and that's about your functional requirements. Non-functional requirements are those which are not associated with a functionality of a system, but they are outside of the functionality. Let me give you an example between a functional requirement and a non-functional requirement. Okay, let's say, for example, you have a printer at home. Okay, the simple functionality would be that you give a print command, and the printer is printing the pages that you want to print. Okay, now a functional requirement is that you click on the print option, decide the number of copies. You want to print 5 copies, and then you say OK or print. The system prints. That's a functional requirement. Okay, a non-functional requirement on the same line would mean something which is not explicitly called. Say, for example, you don't know whether your printer should print those 5 pages in 1 minute or 5 minutes or say 1 hour. So the speed of printing is not related to the function. Okay, only if it becomes important, or if it becomes a business requirement, then it's a functional requirement. Okay, so at a high level, a functional requirement is the one which is about the functionality of the system. That yes, print 5 pages when I click on the print command. That's a functional requirement. But how fast you want to print? You want to print one page every second or 1 page every minute? That's a non-functional requirement which is outside the purview of the functionality. Okay, let me give you one more example, just so that I can help you understand what is a functional requirement and a non-functional requirement. Every time when we go to the office, we have elevators. We take the elevator. Now the elevator has this, this message that how many people it can take in one shot, right? The maximum number of people, say like 20 people in one go, right? Now that's a functional requirement that if you exceed that, the lift will probably not function, right? But it does not specify anywhere how long it will take to take those 20 people from first floor to the second floor. Hi, sorry, that was my daughter. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's a functional requirement and a non-functional requirement. The lift is supposed to take 20 people, is a functional requirement. How long it takes to take 20 people from first floor to second floor is a non-functional requirement, okay, which is outside the purview of the functional requirement. Let's look at what is UML. So the UML stands for Unified Modeling Language, and that's a very general purpose development language which is used for modeling. Okay, and with this language, you can actually help development team and the testing team understand the requirements. Okay, this is a language used to communicate the requirements. A use case is a Okay, so how do we define a use case? In the terms of software engineering or systems engineering, let me just say that a use case is a list of actions or event steps which are typically defined to describe the interactions between the user and the system. Okay, let me give you one example. A typical use case would be, okay, let's take an example that your mobile has switched off, so you turn it on, and to switch it on you have to use the power button. Of course, you press the power button for like 2 seconds and then the mobile is on. Now that's a use case, that every time you press that button for 2 seconds, if the mobile is off, it is turned on. So that's a use case. There is an interaction between a system, which is your mobile phone, and the actor, which is you. So that's a use case. Okay. Business requirements document. A business requirements document is a document which captures all the high-level business requirements. And a functional requirements document, also known as the FRD, is the one that captures all the functional level requirements of the system. So these are some of the terms that you have to get really familiar with: the BRD, the FRD, because once you go on the floor, once you start working as a business analyst, these are the terms you will be regularly asked questions about, or you'll have to regularly talk in these terms. Wireframes are yeah, I hear some noise. I request everybody else to be on mute, please. Okay, so we have a question from Aditya. Is UML a coding language? No, UML is not a coding language. UML is a general developmental language which everybody can use. Even the business analysts can use. It is not a technical language like C, C++, Java, or .NET or something like that. UML is a simple language which includes use cases, flowcharts, activity diagrams, state diagrams, and things like that. So it is not a coding language. Okay. Right. Okay. Thanks, Aditya. That was a good question. Now let's look at wireframes. So what is a wireframe? So tomorrow when you have a requirement where your customer tells you that we want to do this new requirement. So to depict the requirement, to explain that to the development team and the testing team, you can use a tool called wireframes where you can design, it's like an image or a set of images where, with the wireframes you'll be able to display the functional elements of a system. Take for example that I'm launching my new website. Okay, let's take for example that I work for a bank. The bank has decided to launch its new portal. The first page would be that the customers can come and log in. Okay, so a wireframe would include that how a page will look like. It'll be an image where you have, so this is where the logo is going to be, this is where the complete banner is going to be, this is where all the drop down options will be, this is where we will have the login button, this is where we will have the password button. Below the password button we'll have an option to click on the login button and then log in. This is where we will have the forgot password button. So your wireframe will define where all the elements will be placed. Okay, we will get into the more details. So this is just a prelude. Okay, this whole session that we're doing today is a prelude. So once you do the actual course, you have all the exercises where you'll be actually asked to design wireframes and come up with your own, wireframes for a case that we will give you, and that is the real test of you as a business analyst. How do you design a solution? How do you design a solution to a problem? Okay. All right. We have a comment from Aditya. Wireframes similar to. Okay, so Aditya, if you're saying work breakdown structure, a WBS chart is like a work breakdown structure, and that is mostly used in the context of project management. So when your project manager is defining a project, and when he is doing the project timelines, like when which activity should be completed, that is when you will use a WBS chart. Okay, the WBS chart is not too much of relevance to a BA, except that it will tell you that you should complete your activities by so and so date. But a wireframe will give you, will actually help you communicate your requirements to the development team. Okay, so that's the difference between a WBS chart and a wireframe. Okay, right, let's go back and close this. Okay, requirements gathering and requirements elicitation. Requirement gathering is the process of sitting in front of your customer or asking your customers, what are the requirements that you want? So tomorrow, if GM decides to introduce a new functionality in their system, and if you are given the task of gathering the requirements, then you would go and ask the business, what are the requirements that you want? How do you want your system to function? How do you want your that's the process of requirement gathering. You will ask questions, you will do interviews, you will prepare a questionnaire to get all the questions from the business, and then based on that you will do the brainstorming. You will use different tools and techniques to design a solution. Okay, elicitation, on the other hand, is a more detailed process. Okay, in the whole process of requirements engineering, this requirement elicitation is a practice of collecting the requirements of a system from, it could be your users or your customers or consumers and other stakeholders. Okay, this is also related to requirement gathering, but the difference is that elicitation is more detailed. You are going into the details where you are actually asking the customers a lot of questions about how, where each button should be placed, how should the solution look like, what should be the start process, end process. And elicitation is a lot deeper than just gathering requirements. Okay. RTM is nothing but requirements traceability matrix. So once you have your requirements, you don't want to lose them. So you always keep it in a place where you can trace them. Okay. And RTM is one place where you keep all the requirements tracked, and then whether it is being tested or not tested, your SIT is happening on that. So all those things will be captured in the requirements traceability matrix. Okay. I want to take a pause here and just take a step back and ask everybody, how is it going for everybody? Sheikh, Geeta, Venkatesh, who all do we have? Deepak, all right, Venkatesh is good going. Okay, all right, that's a thumbs up.
Dave, I have a question. Sushma here.
Sure, please go ahead.
This is on an RTM, requirement traceability matrix. You must be having some tools to track all those, right? Can you just name a few of them?
Well, requirements traceability matrix is typically maintained in an Excel sheet. Okay, so take for example that you have 10 requirements that are given to you by your customer. The customer has given you 10 high-level requirements. Okay, and then you have done your study on that, and from the business requirements you have gone one level deeper, and then you have got the functional requirements. Okay. Now for those functional requirements, they have to go through the complete cycle. They have to go through the complete cycle of being conceptualized, designed, developed, tested, and implemented. Okay. So how do you track all of those? Let me show you a typical RTM, what it looks like. Okay, and that will give you a very fair idea of what an RTM is and what it is supposed to do and why is it used. Okay. Let me just take a moment here to open the RTM.
Venkatesh is saying they can use the TFS also to.
Right. Yeah. Right. I saw that comment from Venkatesh. I'm keen to understand what do you mean by TFS. Can you just throw some light on that?
Am I audible?
Yes, very much.
Yeah. So I work for Dell International. So at Dell we use Team Foundation Suite, which is actually part of your Microsoft Visual Studio. So that is basically with this TFS, it acts as a repository where you can not only keep your source code base, you can also manage your requirements. You can create user stories and map those user stories across business requirements. So you have you have something called hierarchy of requirements where you have an epic. Under epic you have a feature. Under a feature you have a user story. So again, after you have your team starting to work on the requirements, under the stories they're going to create a task, and against each task the testing team would be mapping or rather creating any defects associated to the task once that development is moved to testing. So that way we have a complete visibility of requirement right from the beginning, right from the inception stage, right all the way till the requirement has been tested. So TFS we can manage all those we manage end to end in TFS.
Right. That's a clear example.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Venkatesh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Venkatesh, you mean like we will use maybe user stories to track all these requirements together as a task?
If you look at the hierarchy that we follow at Dell, what we do is we first come up with the high-level requirement. Since we are using Agile, what we do is we work on sprint planning, and in sprint planning we have the product owners, reviewing the stories with the team. So once the team is able to understand those requirements, they go ahead and start writing tasks for each user story. So once they start writing the task, task is basically a distribution of the story itself, where this story is divided into a number of tasks, and what they do is they assign the task to individual dev team members who start working on those tasks, and that's pretty much that's how we manage the task. So again each task they also key in the the duration of the task, what is the time duration that they need to fulfill the task.
right. So
This way we will do the RTM thing.
So yeah. For the RTM, so in TFS you have a tool to link those tasks. So when I have a story, when I review it with my team, they create the task, and in TFS there is for each story you can add a link, where the link says a link type can be defined, saying that the user story is the parent, and for this parent I have a child task which is the dev task itself. So you can link a task or multiple tasks to a story.
Right.
And
right. So, Sushma, I think what Venkatesh is saying that so that's a customized way of how Dell is doing it. Okay, but other organizations can have their own standards. It's not hard and fast rule that you have to do it this way. But at a general level, what an RTM means is that you are tracking all your business requirements, all your functional requirements, with your everything has to be tested and implemented and designed, right? So all of those components have to be in one place so that you're not losing out, or you're very organized in your testing. Okay, everything starts with the business requirement, right? Your customer gives you a business requirement, and then you build your functional requirements from that. Okay, so once you have the business requirements, you will define an ID for all of them, and all of them will be listed in one certain place. And then from those, one business requirement can have 5 functional requirements out of it, right? So those functional requirements will again be listed here, and then you will have an associated business requirement ID for that. So all right, looks like Sushma has dropped off, and she's connecting again. But we will continue, and if she arrives again, I'll just help her understand the concept of RTM. Okay. The overall idea is that we want to tie all the business requirements and the functional requirements and their testing requirements in one place, so that nothing is being lost. All the requirements are tracked. That's the whole reason why we have the. That's the whole reason why we have this requirements traceability matrix. Shishma, I got your message that you were not able to hear us. You dropped off. Okay, now that you're back. Yeah. Now that you're back, let me quickly give you the RTM, like the name says, requirements traceability matrix. So we are maintaining this document or maintaining this artifact to make sure that we are able to trace all the requirements. From the time you get your business requirements and then you develop your functional requirements out of that, and then you test those requirements, everything is in one place, so you're able to trace them. Okay, your business requirements will be defined first, and then you will define your functional requirements out of it. Then for all those functional requirements, what are the how are they being tested? Are all the test cases written clearly for all those functional requirements? What are the design components which are created for those functional requirements? So everything is in one place, from requirements, from development, and from testing point of view. So this is your one-stop shop where you can come and check, what are my business requirements, what are my functional associated functional requirements, and everything. Okay, that is the purpose of RTM. Okay. Were you able to understand? Okay, can we continue? Right. Okay, so that was the requirements traceability matrix. Let's go back to the presentation. Right, now let's look at okay, so these are the common terms. Now, what does a BA do? A BA is the one who understands business problems and opportunities in the context of requirements and recommends solutions that enable the organization to achieve its goals. And that's the definition we have from IIBA. So as a business analyst, you have to get, once you enter a project, get the complete domain knowledge about it. Know the project in and out. I know it will take time. It takes time. Over a period of time, you can always build that knowledge. And then that makes it easier for you to provide solutions. Only when you know the system completely will you be able to provide solutions. Okay? A BA is expected to understand what the business does and how it does. You are also supposed to determine how to improve existing business processes, and that will happen only when you know what are the existing processes, and that is when you use your domain knowledge skills to build the domain knowledge about the project that you are in. Okay. As a BA, you will also determine which tasks, steps to automate. Okay. If there is a certain process that the project is following, you need to know the process completely first. Only then you'll be able to identify which are the steps that I can automate and make the job easier. You will also be able to design the features of IT systems. Okay. So, like I say, if you decide to have your own system, if the customer gives you a requirement, the requirements are coming because there is a business problem associated with it, and somebody is trying to solve the business problem. That's why we have the business requirements. So you should be able to design the features of the solution, how it should look like and what it should look like. And this is one exercise that we'll be covering in our main BA course through the form of case studies. Okay. As a BA, you will also implement the new feature of IT systems. So it's not just defining the solutions, you will also be taking them to the right closure when they're implemented. What are the skills and knowledge that you're supposed to have as a BA? So the first thing is the domain knowledge and people management. And why I have them in capital letters is because they are really important. Everything else is secondary. You can be a facilitator, you can be an analytical thinker, you can be a problem solver. Everybody can be that. But domain knowledge is what that will differentiate you from a regular BA to a good BA. You have to get the domain knowledge. And it will not happen over one day or 1 week. Once you get into a project, you will need to spend that amount of time to gain all the domain knowledge. How is the business functioning? What is it that is assigned to you? Which business process is assigned to you? How does that process work? What are the inputs and outputs? And that is how you build your domain knowledge. We have some sessions on how to build the domain knowledge, and that's part of the main course. I'll show you that. There is also people management skills which you need to develop. Why? Because you will be interacting with the development team, you will be interacting with the project management team, you will be interacting with the testing team. And trust me, in India, the IT scenario is that there is a lot of catfight between development, testing, and all these teams. So you have to play that balancing act, and you have to be able to pacify both of them in order to get your job done. Always make sure, always find out or always remember what is in the best interest of the project, because that is with you. As a BA, you are the owner of maintaining that balance between the dev team and the testing team to make sure that the project is not suffering. Okay. This reminds me that we have a section called the hurdles and the solutions, which we do in our BA course. So as a BA, what are the main hurdles that you will face, and how do you go around that? How do you solve that problem? How do you cross that hurdle? Okay, so that's part of the main course that we offer, hurdles and the solutions of BA. Okay. Okay. Now let's look at what are the tools and techniques that you need to become a BA. You need to know what a use case is. Questionnaires are something that you can always use to get requirements from the customer. JAD and RAD. JAD is nothing but Joint Application Development. RAD is Rapid Application Development. BPM is a Business Process Management. SIPOC. SIPOC is nothing but a Supplier Input Process Output Customer. Now, where do you use a SIPOC? A SIPOC is where when you're trying to understand a process, you can use this technique to find out what are the inputs and outputs of the process and who's using it. Take, for example, the login page of a bank's website. Okay, you go to that page. You are supposed to provide first of all, you're supposed to have the URL of that page to go to that page. That's an input which is used by you. Now you enter the URL, you click OK, and then you land on the page. And then you enter the user ID and the password, and then you click OK to get into the system. So these are some of the processes that you follow, and what are the inputs and outputs of those processes. So a SIPOC will help you define what is the process and what are the inputs and outputs of the process. Workshops is another tool that you can use to conduct your workshop requirements, where you can ask, you can invite your business customer, ask him questions about what he wants, what are the business problems that they're trying to address, what are the requirements around them. So workshop is another tool. Activity diagrams, we will learn about them in the business analyst course. Activity diagrams are nothing but diagrams that define the active state of the system. Okay, when you click on, say for example, I'll use a simple example of logging into the systems, logging into the bank's website. So you go to the URL, click on the URL, your web page opens, and then you enter the user ID, password, and everything, and then you click OK to get into the system. Now, an activity diagram will help you define that the first activity you did was that you got the URL, then click the URL, enter the ID, enter the password, click OK. So these are your activities that you're doing, and your activity diagram will help you, draw these activities on a sheet of paper and understand the overall business process. Then there is also a tool called technique called Moscow technique. Moscow is nothing but must have, should have, could have, or would have. So that's the reason why M, S, C, and W are in capitals. Must have, should have, could have, would have. Now what that means is that this is for the requirements. When you actually start working as a BA, it's not just one or two requirements that you will get. You'll be flooded with requirements, and at that time, as a business analyst, you have to tell the customer that not everything is important. So we want to hit the big rock items first, right? You always hit the big rock first. So that will be your must-have. The requirements that are very important and you cannot live without them. So those are must-haves. Should-have are the ones which are not as important as must-haves, but they're equally important. Okay, so we have should-have, and then similarly we have could-have and would-have, which are not so important, and then the ones which are really least important are the would-haves. Okay, the ones which you can survive without. Flowcharts is another way of gathering requirements. You can use the flowcharts to draw the state of a system, where it starts, where it ends, and use that to get to use that as a BA tool. Brainstorming is another session which you can conduct, along with other BAs and development team and testing team. You can also do gap analysis. Gap analysis is the active state and the to be the as is state and the to be state of the system, and then you find out where the gap is. Then there is a trick called as 5 whys. 5 whys is nothing but every time you get a requirement, you ask why, and why. So you ask that 5 times, and then once you get answers to all those whys, you will have a clear requirement with you. Say, for example, I want to develop a system. I am working for a bank, ICICI Bank. I want to develop a website for the customers. So first question would be why? Because yes, we want them to log in. Why? Because they should be able to check their account balances. Why? Because it's a facility that we want to provide as a bank. So this is one technique which you can really use. 5 whys will actually help you gain a deeper understanding of that particular requirement. RCA is nothing but root cause analysis. Root cause analysis will, you do the fishbone diagram where you decide why something. If you have a problem, then what is the root cause for that? There's a fishbone diagram that we will go through. Change management is another process that BAs do. BAs are always involved in change management. So every time a software gets implemented, there are a lot of requirements which do not get answered, and those are answered through the change management process. We studied about UML. UML, how it is a general modeling language that is used. Workflows are again something that you can design and use as a tool and technique. Then there is Six Sigma, process improvements, and FMEA. I'd like to highlight about FMEA. FMEA is nothing but the failure mode effect analysis. So once you have your process identified for any business requirement, let's say you use the SIPOC to develop a process or to understand the process. Then on top of that, you can use FMEA to find out if a particular step of that process fails, then what is the impact. So you can use this to analyze how robust or how solid your process is. So FMEA is nothing but failure mode effective analysis. So what you do is, if you have identified your process, then for each of those, if say for example there are 5 steps in that process, then you remove one step purposely. Okay, you remove first step and see will the process still function if the first step had failed completely. Then you do the second one, remove it completely and see how the process will work if the second step of the process failed miserably. Okay, so that's one technique that you can always use as a BA. All right, let's look at a BA career path. Once you become a BA, where are you headed? How far can you go as a BA? Okay, so entry-level BA have about 3 to 4 years of experience. Okay, and then you can become a CCBA, which is a certificate of competent BA, and then you can do the CBAP. At 7 to 10 years, you can do the CBAP. CBAP is nothing but Certified Business Analyst Professional, and it is endorsed by the IIBA, which is International Institute of Business Analysis. Once you are at a senior BA level, you have the option to either go to the project manager role, or you can also become the architect. An architect is the one who knows the entire enterprise. He knows exactly where what is working, and he can architect the word architect is a very powerful word. I mean, architects don't become architects just like that. Okay, they know exactly how to foolproof the system. They know the system in and out. Where the system can leak or may leak or may not leak, and that is kind of knowledge that you can develop over a period of 7 to 10 years to become a business architect. Okay, At the same time, when you're at the senior BA level, you can also do a CBAP and then do your PMP to get into the project manager role. And from then onwards, you have the option to go to any executive level role, right? You could be the director or VP. I'm not trying to create a very rosy picture here, but generally this is the path that a BA should follow. Okay. Of course, there are a lot of other options which open as a BA. Okay. It may not be that once you start as a entry level BA, then in 15 years you have to be the director. No. It's just that as a BA, once you get to a position where you have multiple options that have opened, you have the option to choose where you want to go. Okay. All right, let's take a step back here. Any questions so far?
There's this level BA said, no? 3 to 4 years in the BA experience.
I'm sorry, is that Sushma? Yes, Sushma, go ahead.
Yeah. Just 7 years, right?
Yes.
Experience or like BA experience?
This includes both BA as well as the overall experience.
Fine.
Right. Okay. So now these are some of the information about CCBA certification requirements. So you have to do minimum 3,750 hours of BA work experience, aligned with the BOK, which is the Business Analyst Body of Knowledge. Okay, you should have minimum 900 hours. Okay, in all the 6 knowledge areas. So we didn't talk about 6 knowledge areas, right? So the BOK is like the Bible of business analysis. Okay, you have all the information that you need to become a successful business analyst, and our course is designed around this BOK. You should have a minimum 21 hours of professional development in the past 4 years, which is fairly easy. Okay, and then you have to have 2 references from any of your customers or clients. Okay. The cost involved is, if you're an IIBA member, then you have about 125 to become, 125 for the application fee and 325 for the exam. If you're not a member, then it's about 125 and 450. For everybody else, it is about $50 for exam cancellation, in case if you don't clear. Not that you will not, I'm sure you will. And if you want to rewrite the exam, it's about $250 for members. The same cost for non-members is about $375. Okay. Most of the organizations have the employee development programs where they sponsor these kind of these exams. So go ahead and make use of that. It is always going to help you. Okay. Similarly, there is CBAP certification. So this is the big daddy of certifications for BA. You should have minimum 7,500 hours of BA work, 900 hours of work in the 4 areas of 6 knowledge areas, and then 21 hours of personal development, professional development. The cost involved is about $770 for members and $880 for non-members. Again, most of the organizations are sponsoring this and are providing this, so you can go ahead and take the course. Now let's look at how the BA environment is. How is it looking for the, from the salary point of view? So the general perception.
Dave, I have 2 questions. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
Can I go back to previous slide?
Yes.
I have 2 questions here. One is, you're saying not the style is trying to talk about. Now, what are those 6 areas?
Ishma, your voice is breaking out, so can you be a little clear?
I said like I have 2 questions. One is like your 6 areas.
Hey, Sushma, your voice is really breaking out. Can we do this?
Sorry, Dave. Sorry, guys. Sushma, is it possible for you to type in?
So 6.
Your voice is breaking actually.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. So okay, yeah. So we will talk about that. We'll talk about those 6 areas of knowledge.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. So let's look at how the BAs are paid. Okay. So this is the information that we gathered from reliable sources, and in India the median salary for a BA is about 5,87,000. This is the median, which means that this is an average of about 4,000 to 294 people that this survey was conducted with. Okay, and that's the median. But the general perception is that BAs do make a handsome salary. The average is about, in case if you include your bonus and profit sharing components and the commission components, you may end up getting anywhere about 10 to 11 lakhs per annum. Okay, there are a lot of organizations which are very interested about having BAs on their projects, so the demand is always on the rise. Okay, and companies like Accenture, Cisco, Capgemini, and then all the other services company, product development companies, the demand for BA is always on the rise. Cognizant is one big recruiter of business analysts. So the median is about 5.8, and the highest, for a starter, it can go up to anywhere between, around 50 to 75% of that. So it looks very promising. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Aditya, you still on? All right, so Aditya has a question. Let me just get the question from him. Okay, so the Aditya's question, and it's a good one for everybody as well. To become a member, what you have to do is, this is how you become a member. So if you want to be a CBAP member, the application fee is about 125. The exam fee is about 325, and then that's how you become a member. So to become a member, you can go to the IIBA website and sign up for the course. So sign up for the membership. And once you're a member, you will start getting all the correspondences and all the communications from them. Okay, you can always check with your organization if they have the application, the sponsorship program. Most of the organizations, most of the organizations have programs where they sponsor your membership as well as your exams. Okay, so that's that. Okay, now let's look at what are the trends for business analysts. How the whole role of business analyst is evolving. Okay, what are some of the important areas, or what are the important things which are happening in this capacity, in this role? Okay, so the first thing is that the business analysts and the system analysts will need to develop interchangeable skill sets. Now, a lot of organizations have different terms for business analysts. It's not just you're a BA, you're only a BA. A lot of organizations call themselves as system analysts, or there are organizations where a project manager also does the BA work, or the BA does the PM work as well as testing work. Okay, so there is a lot of there are a lot of names for this particular role. It could be business analyst, system analyst. A business analyst will typically mean that you are not much on the technical side, but you're more on the functional side. But a system analyst will mean that you are more on the technical side, but less on the functional side. Okay. But currently, the trends that we are seeing is that both BAs and the SAs are required to be on, they're required to have interchangeable skills, which means that as a BA, it is always good to become a little technical. Know the, if you know the little, I'm not saying you should know the code, no, but you should be a little technical in terms of where the information is being saved. You should be able to query the DB. You should be able to query the databases. Similarly, system analysts who are very technical, who are very sound when it comes to technical information, they also have to develop the functional knowledge of the system, the business knowledge of the system. Okay, so that's one of the trends that we are seeing. Being agile is a competency; it's not a methodology. So right now, agile is very much in demand, and we will know about that in our course. But what that means is that the expectation is that BAs are expected to be agile. You should be able to adapt to the requirements. Requirements come, user stories are written, things, design is done, development is done, testing is done, and you have to be very agile, managing a lot of requirements at the same time. So earlier it used to be a methodology, you really have to be agile, but now it's a competency. It is expected that everyone becomes agile. Okay. Managers will ignore BAs at their own peril. So earlier, like I said, the BA role was not that prevalent. It was not very much in highlight, but now managers are realizing how important it is to have BAs on their team. There are organizations where we never had any BAs. The requirements were done by project manager. They were being tested by the development team, and things were being just delivered like that. But now they need a BA who can work as an anchor, who can work with the development team, testing team individually, give them the requirements, play the balancing act, and then get the job done. BAs will get in the action. BAs will get in on the action early and often. What that means is that earlier, the process they used to follow was that the customer will give the requirements. The requirements will come to the project manager. The project manager will give the requirements to the BA team. The BA team will then understand, then ask the questions, do the requirements, and then hand it off to the development team. But now, the expectation is that the BAs are the starting point of the requirements. The requirements come straight to the BAs. Okay? And then from there on, it percolates down to everybody else in the team. It goes to the development team, the QA team. Because this is a BA course, we are focusing on the BA side, but if you go to any testing software testing course, they will also tell you that even the testing teams are becoming very active very early on in the project. They want to know what they have to test, because they don't want to miss anything which was not tested and which went into production and caused a defect, right? So everybody is getting on their toes. BAs are the ones who are getting early action in the project. They are the ones who are getting all the business requirements documents, and they are required to gather all the requirements ASAP. Let the development team know about it ASAP. Okay. So any questions so far? No questions? Okay, sounds good. Requirements management is getting sophisticated. Okay, so what that means is that most of the organizations earlier, they used to follow that old school method of doing the requirements. Everything used to be written, created in the form of a document, and then these business requirements documents would be like really huge. Okay, so they'll be like so huge that if you throw it on a table, this will actually make a sound like thud. They used to be that huge for a business requirements document. But over a period of time, what we are seeing is that technology is changing all of that. Okay, documents are being managed and shared through web-based portals like SharePoint. Okay, so right now what is happening is that the client does the business requirement document and he shares it immediately. The BAs have a copy of it, and they're able to go through it. And technology is making the whole process of doing the requirements gathering more sophisticated. Now, we have gone to the extent where everybody is getting online. We have a dedicated WebEx line where you invite the customer, you open the business requirements document, walk them through the requirements, ask all the questions immediately. You bring your development team also on the same call, bring everybody on the same table, and then do the requirements in one shot. So with the help of technology, people are able to share their screens, people are able to share their, everybody is able to come on the same platform and discuss the requirements and complete it in one shot. So technology is helping requirements gathering, and the whole process is getting sophisticated. Business analysis continues to emerge as a profession with a career path in larger organizations. So like I said earlier, the organizations were not really realizing the importance of BAs, but now they are, and most of the almost all the companies want to have a dedicated BA who's there in the project, who is actually liaising between different teams and driving the project. Okay. There is also news that the enterprise architecture is coming back to the light. What that means is that, earlier we had these huge enterprises where you would have different architects, and the staff would just sit and everybody had their own dedicated job. Okay, but now the enterprise architecture is one that BAs are driving all the activities. BAs are ensuring that they are aware of what's happening on the development side. They are aware of what's happening on the testing side. Earlier, all these teams used to work in silo. Okay, development will do their development and give the code to the testing team. They will test, and then they will drop the defects in some certain place, central location. But now the whole architecture is coming back to life, in the sense that teams are working closely with each other. Okay, and the information is being shared all across. It's not that BAs are working in silo, the QA is working in silo, and the development is working in silo. No, everybody is working together with each other, and then they're making sure that the project is a success. Now, the last trend that we have for BAs is that between a cloud and a hard place. And why I say that is because, there are so many cloud-based companies, cloud-based solutions which are continuously flooding the markets. Every nook and corner you hear about some company which is doing something on cloud, right? And these are the companies where the business analysis will find their place, because right now the intent is that companies don't want to spend too much on the infrastructure, and this whole concept of cloud is helping them cut down on their infrastructure cost, which means that all their applications can be hosted somewhere in the cloud, and it can be accessed from anywhere just with the help of a browser. With a smartphone or with some kind of a browser, you can access the application from anywhere. So what is happening is that there's a huge shift from the physical architecture to this mobile, cloud-based architecture where everything is hosted somewhere, and in a scenario when you're moving these applications from one location to the cloud location, you need BAs who can do the requirements, who can understand the nitty-gritties of these applications, and then move them successfully to the cloud. And that is where the requirement for BA is rising. The demand for BAs is rising in these companies, because everybody wants to say, all the organizations want to save money, because cloud is cheaper. You get to host your own applications at the cost of about 1/10. Okay, but to do that, you need effective people. You need people who can, get you through that phase, or you can say the transition phase, and get you to cloud. And it is the BAs who are required to do this job. Okay. Let's look at what else we got here. Okay, so what are the career opportunities for BAs? So this diagram will actually help you what it is for the career, for the BA. So once you become a BA, there are many avenues which open up for you. There is, you can become a functional analyst, or you can become a service request analyst. You can also become agile analyst, or systems analyst, or a business systems analyst, or a requirements analyst. There are different programs that are available for these different roles, but essentially everything is coming out of a BA role only. All these smaller roles, I wouldn't say the smaller roles, all these different roles are kind of ingredient to one main core role, which is still your BA role. Okay, so a lot of scope for the business analyst. I think that's the end of the slide. I think we have just one slide left. So what are we doing now? The whole intent of this webinar was to, let you know about what you can do as a BA, and if you want to do that, what is it that you need to do. Now this is just a prelude. This is just like the trailer of the movie. The actual movie is an 8-week rigorous program for aspiring business analysts, where you will learn all the latest business analysis techniques. You will get insight into the knowledge areas and become industry ready. See, there's a very strong point that I'm saying here, and I wrote this down when I was doing this presentation, that we will make you industry ready. Tomorrow when you go to the industry, you have to function as a BA. What is it that you need to become industry ready? You'll be expected to do 5 different things at one time. Are you ready for that? Do you have all the capability for that? So we will make you, we will give you that knowledge to become industry ready. Okay? The program will be led by the BAs who are from the industry. So I'll be leading that program. Okay? Where you can expand your skills and you can also land a plum job. It's not just we are giving you the business analyst training. We will also do a complete interview session where you'll be asked questions on how you handle BA interview. Okay? And then the whole course will actually help you move up in your career. Let me take a short pause here and show you the Skillvenue's website. You can take a look at the course.
Dave,
Yes?
yeah, just a quick one. I think we can also customize the our sessions or maybe the course, maybe from 8 weeks to 6 weeks as per the requirement, right? We are that flexible or not?
Yes, that is possible. You're right.
Okay.
Okay. And that is our website. Nitin, do you know where
No, just click there. No? Just go down and click on the business analysis course. Yep, first one. On the right. No, left. Just go left. Yeah.
So, as part of this course, what we'll be covering, I'm sure everybody can see my screen here. We will introduce you to the business analysis. We will learn the essentials of business analysis. And if Sushma will call, then Sushma, these are the business areas that we're talking about. Business analysis, where you learn how to define business, how you assess the capability. And then there is business analysis, planning and monitoring. There is elicitation, requirements management and communication, requirements analysis, selection assessment and validation, use case writing, business rules, business analyst environment, what it looks like, then project structures, how a project structure right now in the IT industry. Then we'll do case studies, and then there's the industry readiness preparation. We will help you prepare for interview, which will come when you do this course, right? So that is our detailed course. That's what it looks like. Any questions so far?
What about the fee structure for this course and the timing?
Right. So I'll let Nitin answer that. Nitin?
Yeah, just a second. Let me open it. Okay, guys. So fee structure goes like this. It's gonna be kind of 16,000 course fee. Okay, and no, for individual, if you guys come in groups, then definitely we can offer you a discount. And on the timing, it's gonna be most probably it's gonna be on over the weekends for 1 hour or 2 hours. Again, it depends upon how you want to take it. So it's gonna be, it could be 6 week course or it could be 8 week course. We are that flexible. We can customize our courses as well. So that's not a problem. And that is it. Sushma? Hello?
Yep. I got the details. Thank you.
Okay. So just to brief you about Skill Venue, basically Skill Venue is a edtech startup. Okay, I'm one of the core team member, and I'm taking care of the marketing. And basically, it's a kind of an online training marketplace. We cater corporates, colleges, individuals, and we cater across the globe. And we provide two kinds of training, basically instructor-led training, what we are offering right now, as well as self-paced training. Self-paced training, I think most of you understand, but just to brief you, anyone can log in from anywhere and go through the sessions whenever he or she feels like. Okay. And on the instructor led or about this course, we'll go over the course over the 6 week or 8 weeks, and all the sessions will be recorded, and the access to all the sessions will be given to the people who are enrolled to the course.
Okay.
Okay. And we also provide kind of a mentoring sessions if anyone need kind of a mentoring for an hour or for so we do provide that also. Okay.
Okay.
Hello. Yeah. So that is it. So is there anything else there?
Yeah, so I'm just going to leave my name and number. In case anybody wants to contact me, then they can always reach me.
So if you want, I can send them your details, as well as anyone who is interested in the course can log in and give me a call or give a call to Anand.
All right, so those who can speak with me, that's my number and that's my email address. And on the closing note, I just like to say that if you're curious about your business analysis course, then this is the course for it. We have all the ingredients that you require to become successful business analyst. The course is pretty detailed. So you can look at the curriculum on the website. It is very detailed. Talks all the areas about business analysts, core areas, and it's a good one.
Dave, your voice is breaking.
Yeah, I realize that. Okay. Any other questions?
Thanks a lot for the session. So this is very useful information what we can look for a certification and all. We'll reach you offline, like over your email and phone number.
Okay, Sushma, thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Venkatesh. Thanks, Aditya. Thanks, Shani Sheikh. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you again for the course. Thank you.